So as I write this, I've got 101 subscribers on my YouTube channel. That is really awesome. I never thought that would happen. When I started the channel a few months ago, I thought maybe I'd get 10 or 12 people, but I never thought that I'd have 100 people. The fact that there's 101 people that care about my mundane opinions and observations about records is really awesome and heartwarming to me. The fact that people want to watch me and listen to me, it really brings me a lot of joy, and it really encourages me to keep making these videos, which I love doing. So thank you so much to everyone who watches and everyone who supports me, because it really does mean a lot. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I will do something fun to celebrate 100 subscribers. I don't know what or when, but something will happen eventually. The video today, however, is going to be a thread response. I was watching Chris Profi Musically Obsessed channel yesterday, and he made a cool response to B-Side Records thread that she started, asking us to show 10 name albums. 10 name songs. So an example of a name song would be like Beth by Kiss, for example. So that's an awesome idea, and I can't wait to show you my records. I had never visited her channel before, so thank you, Chris, for introducing me. And thank you, B-Side Records, for starting the thread, because it's an awesome idea. So I'll get right into it. The records I'm going to show you are in no particular order. It's a mix of punk rock and metal stuff, as always. I chose to show 10 records based on, 10 songs based on non-fictional people. I just thought it would be a fun challenge to give myself. So I'll get right into it. First record I'm going to show is a demo. So we've got Alone, the home recordings of Rivers Cuomo. Rivers Cuomo, of course, being the frontman and lead songwriter, lead guitarist, really band leader of Weezer. And the song that I'm going to talk about is Buddy Holly. So Buddy Holly, of course, is, in my opinion, Weezer's most iconic song. Their first real big hit. Either that or the Sweater Song. I'm not sure which came first. They were pretty close to each other. But yeah, this is awesome. For every Weezer song, there's probably 6 or 7 other Weezer songs that are, sitting on a cassette or on a hard drive somewhere. Because, Rivers has written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs. So I love, having these kinds of recordings in my collection, because it really is an insight into his mind. And I find he's such a brilliant musician, so I love having this stuff. I think there's 4 or 5 volumes that came after this, actually. But yeah, so Buddy Holly, great song. The version that's featured on here is a demo from June '93. So it is pretty well the final song. It does sound quite identical to the final version that came on the Blue album a few months later. But it's still cool to have as kind of like an archival cut or whatever. This is a nice insert. It's just got lyrics to every song, as well as liner notes, kind of with the origins of the songs and things. So very cool. I could have shown this, but everyone's got it, and if not, we've all seen it a million times. Buddy Holly, of course, originally came out on here. So Weezer with Buddy Holly. Next up, we've got some thrash. We've got Exodus with Blood In, Blood Out. This is, of course, their latest record. It's hard to believe it's already been 6 years since this come out. I remember waiting for this like 4 years. Not 4, like the number 4, but for years. I was anticipating the release of this ever since the 2010's Exhibit B. But yeah, this is kick-ass stuff. The song that we've got on here is BTK, so which stands for Bind, Torture, Kill, which is the nickname that one of the worst serial killers in American history, Dennis Rader, gave himself. And he ultimately would end up being caught, I think because he was using his church's computer to upload files or transfer files or videos of the things that he was doing. So real heinous stuff, real gross stuff, but it makes for a really great song. Features some guest vocals by Chuck Billy from Testament. So this is definitely a record that you want to have in your collection. If you're a thrash fan, or if you're a metal fan, check it out. Exodus is one of the greatest metal bands ever, in my opinion. Next up, we've got a punk rock band out of Portland, Oregon. And I've been talking about lots of Portland, Oregon bands lately. This is Clorox Girls with their album J'aime les filles. The song that we've got on here is Eva Braun. Eva Braun, of course, Hitler's mistress or wife or girlfriend or whatever. I don't know the direct relationship, what it was. But it's written about from the perspective of if they had a son. So, from his kind of point of view of his life. So, really great stuff. This is really easygoing, very super catchy, super melodic. Really, really fun punk rock music. So if you've never heard them before, check them out. The song Flowers of Evil will make you a fan. So check out, look up Flowers of Evil, Clorox Girls on YouTube, and it'll just change your life. This is fantastic stuff. So yeah, Eva Braun. Next up, we've got a couple solo records. First up being Joey Ramone's first solo album, Don't Worry About Me. Of course, legendary vocalist for the Ramones. This song, the song that we're talking about on here is Maria Bartiromo. So Maria Bartiromo was a friend of Joey's, and she's also political commentator, I think, on CNN. But it's a great song. We've got also on here What a Wonderful World, which he covered, which was in a few movies and things. So I think that was probably the biggest hit off this record. This is brilliant stuff. It's a lot different than the Ramones. It's a lot more rock, slower songs. They're longer. They're more kind of intricate. But really brilliant stuff. Anything that Joey touches to me is gold. Unfortunately, he did not see the release of this album. He succumbed to his illness a few months before its release. So, in saying that, no one lives forever. But it's nice that we can, have the art forever. Personally speaking, the Ramones is, maybe my favorite band of all time. And I'm too young to have ever seen them, and I'll never see them. So the fact that I can, live, I wouldn't say relive, but the fact that I can live out fantasies or whatever by listening to the records and watching the DVDs and things is really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. Enjoy. Next up, we have another Ramone, this time CJ, with American Beauty. I love CJ Ramone as much as I love Joey Ramone. CJ Ramone was really the first Ramone to appeal to me as a kid. I loved his look. I loved his vocals on the Local Live album. Really, really meant a lot to me as a kid, and so much so that I've just kept on him my whole life. I've followed his career. I love everything he does. I think he's a brilliant songwriter, and I think he was a perfect fit when he did join the Ramones. The song that we're talking about on here is Tommy's Gone, which is a really heartbreaking song about the death of Tommy Ramone, and at which point, when he did pass, was the final of the four Ramones, the four original Ramones to go. So it is a really sad song, but it is really beautiful too. So yeah, check it out, CJ Ramone. Oh, I wanted to say as well, on this album, we've got, performance by legendary bass player, but he plays guitar on here, but Steve Soto of the Adolescents, who passed away just a few years ago. So rest in peace to Joey Ramone, to Tommy Ramone, and to Steve Soto. Three real power figures in punk rock, and three guys that'll never be forgotten and that will always be celebrated, by me anyway. So thanks, guys. Next up, we've got a song that a lot of people attribute as being the first ever goth rock song, and that is Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus. This is one of the eeriest, creepiest songs I've ever heard, especially when I first heard it as a kid. It freaked the hell out of me. The Tomb Raider mix, which is on their greatest hits from '98, is really great too. I've got a copy of that, but I figured I'd show you the original just because it's cool. So this came out in '78. This record came out in 2018, is what I meant to say, to celebrate 40 years of Bauhaus. And they had recorded Bela Lugosi's Dead originally in '79. At the time, they had recorded 4 other tracks. So this is the first time that the entire recording session has been released. And it was released for their 40th anniversary. That was the point of my story. So this is awesome, awesome stuff. It's a really cool piece of Bauhaus history, especially for the 3 songs that had been previously completely unreleased. So if you haven't got this, check it out, definitely. And if the extra tracks don't appeal to you, check it out for Bela Lugosi's Dead, because that is a song that everyone has to hear at least once. It's really, really, really cool. Yeah. So Bauhaus. This is a nice, heavy 180 gram record. It's got a nice custom inner here. I don't know, made to look like some kind of cassette card or something. And there's a nice, I think, 4-way fold-out poster that I'll show you. I love getting these posters, but I never put them up. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Just art from the original single. And Bela Lugosi, of course, for those unfamiliar, is a famous actor from the early days who was most famous for playing Dracula. So next up, we've got Laura Jane Grace in The Devouring Mothers. This is, of course, Laura Jane Grace being, the kick-ass frontwoman from Against Me. In my opinion, one of the greatest punk bands ever, just one of the best bands ever. Against Me has meant so much to me over the years and continue to do so. And I love Laura Jane Grace's solo stuff just as much. It's quite different than Against Me in some ways, but in some ways it's a lot alike. So the song that we've got here is Valaria Galino, which is written, I don't know if it's written about or if it's just the name, but about an Italian actress. The reason I say I don't know if it's about her is because the lyrics are super, super dark and quite disturbing. So I don't know if it's intentional or if it's, like I said, just like a tribute, because I don't know much about the actress myself. So we've got a nice lyric sheet here. We've got the hype sticker, of course. And it's got a nice Bloodshot Records custom inner sleeve. And I'll show you the color, but it doesn't translate well on video, but this is a really beautiful clear vinyl. It's almost got like a frosted look, which I think is really nice. But yeah, so Laura Jane Grace and The Devouring Mothers. If you're fans of Against Me and you've never listened to her solo stuff, check her out. And if you've never listened to Against Me, do yourself a favor and check them out because they are the best. Next up, got some more punk. This time with Bela Biafra in the Guantanamo School of Medicine with their second record, White People and the Damage Done. The song that we've got on here is John Dillinger, of course, written about the famous bank robber. This is really awesome stuff. Bela Biafra, after the Dead Kennedys broke up, he did spoken word stuff for years and years, which I believe he still does. And he did, worked a lot with DOA, did lots of stuff with Al Jorgensen. He was all over the map in terms of musical styles. So it's really cool to see him come back and do a Dead Kennedys-esque project. Like the guitar riffs in here sound just like East Bay Ray. It's really, really, really cool. I don't know if it's an intentional thing or if it's a tribute or what, but it's awesome. And even the lyrics have that kind of Winston Smith-esque look. I don't know, this might actually be by Winston Smith, but if not, it definitely looks like it was made to be. So yeah, John Dillinger by Bela Biafra in the Guantanamo School of Medicine. Check him out if you haven't heard him before. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. This came out in 2013, and unfortunately it is the last record they put out, so hopefully they've got something cooking for soon. Number 9 is MDC. So depending on the album, it means something different. On this one here, it means Millions of Dead Cops. And we've got John Wayne Was a Nazi, which kind of paints him in a different light. Was he really a hero in all those movies, or was he kind of a coward and kind of a racist dick? I've got my opinions, but I'll keep them to myself. MDC, of course, is a legendary hardcore band. This is not an original pressing, but it's a second or third. This originally came out in '82. I think this copy came out in '83 specifically, but I'm not 100% positive. I have to double check. It's got a nice kind of R Radical label there, and it's got this really nice one that I gotta show you. This, I've always loved this. I used to have this on my t-shirt. This is Blue by Day, White by Night. Stop Killer Cops. I love that. So MDC with John Wayne Was a Nazi. And last up, from my last record, are the Replacements with Pleased to Meet Me with their brilliant, brilliant, brilliant song, Alex Chilton. Of course, Alex Chilton being from Big Star, which is a band I've never checked out, so let me know. Is Big Star a good band? I mean, I'm going to check them out eventually, because they've been on my list for a while now because of the Replacements, but are they any good? Hey, where should I start? This is a brilliant record. This is a lot more polished and a lot more focused than their earlier, more punky hardcore stuff. It's so good though. Alex Chilton plays guitar guests on the song Can't Hardly Wait, which in my opinion might be the greatest song ever written. It's just so incredible. Every time I listen to it, it just puts me in the most incredible mood. But yeah, so Replacements with Pleased to Meet Me with their song Alex Chilton, which they've also got on the Replacements EP, which I'll just show you for fun. We've got Alex Chilton and Nightclub Jitters, which are on Pleased to Meet Me, and Election Day and Route 66, which are exclusive to this release. So I thought I'd just show you that for fun. Replacement's one of the greatest bands ever, in my opinion. Super great stuff. There would be no Goo Goo Dolls if not for them. I mean, I know Goo Goo Dolls were around like in the early 80s doing the hardcore thing, but they would never have gone like Iris if not for the Replacements, in my opinion. Total ripoff of the Replacements. Not in I guess, tribute / ripoff, you could say. Yeah, and that's it. That's it for my 10 records. So, or my 10 songs. So I hope you enjoyed. What I've got playing on the record player right now is Motorhead with Death or Glory, which is weird. This is a weird record. So this is Bastards. This is the album Bastards that came out in '93. But for some reason, it was renamed Death or Glory and put out by DMM Cutting, which I had never heard of. It got the ZYX Records, which originally put out Bastards, licensed it to them. But I don't know why they changed the name, and I don't know why they put this weird kind of knockoff looking Snaggletooth logo. And there's a whole essay back here about the history of the album Bastards, and they call it Bastards a bunch of times. But the first line of the essay reads, "The Motorhead album featured here, originally entitled Bastards, was released in 1993. And that's it. There's no explanation as to why they changed it, so I don't know. I picked it up because I was looking for Bastards forever. I could never find it because it's probably my favorite Motorhead record. The song Burner is my favorite Motorhead track for sure. But anyway, I picked it up because it was cheap, and it is cheap. It doesn't sound the best, and it doesn't have an insert or anything, so until I can find a copy of Bastards proper, I'll keep this. But it's worth it for the songs. In the end, that's all that matters, right? So yeah, Motorhead with Bastards, or if you got this cheap version, Death or Glory. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Thank you to the 101 people who've subscribed to me. It means so much. I really appreciate it. So be well, be kind to each other, and just be happy. Thank you.